judgment. Now they tell you the story of Jesus taking you to his Father to be judged. We all know where that came from. We all know that we can see where our system of judge and jury came from. We're looking at all this right now. All this stuff was stolen from us when we foolishly educated these white devils and tried to teach them to be godly. No, we just made them more educated devils, okay? And this is the reason why the world is suffering the way it is right now. As you can see in this judgment hall, it is complete. You have women, you have men, you have a jury, you have a verdict of guilty or not, and you have the whole system of what happens to you and everything. What do Christians tell you? You die, you go to God, no women there, just men, all gay homo shit, okay? No jury, no nothing, just God, just a bunch of lies that nobody, I'm not even going to say nothing else, alright? But I'm just showing to you how complete the Egyptian story is and how many loopholes the Christian story have, because the Christian story was created to give to dumbass, illiterate farmers and victimized, made illiterate slaves so they didn't have to put a lot of work into it because it was all garbage anyway. Peace and blessings. Be right back. Hotep, Hetepu, Mayad Hotep. Okay, what we got right here is the goddess Set. You see how it's spelled? E-S-E-T. Now, as you can see in this depiction of her, she is definitely melanated. Finally. Oh my God, finally. And you can see that Sister Girl is holding a lotus flower in her hand. Just like I told you guys, the lotus flower always represents purity and keeping thyself clean. Divine thoughts creates divine actions. As you can see on top of her head is the, what I always call to attention is the, if you do not pass through me first, you cannot sit on the throne. That was the main thing the Egyptians always perpetuated. Do not abuse your women. Your woman is very important to you. Do not treat her like shit, for she is your mother, she is your sister, she is your daughter, she is your grandmother, she is your auntie. She is the most important thing in a man's life. You are not supposed to walk around here and look at women as if they are not shit. It bothers me to see women smoking cigarettes because I know they have been miseducated with the proper educating and someone telling her, listen, honey, no, you are very important to all of us. We cannot afford to have you killing yourself by smoking these things. No, this is very bad for our society. These things are banned. They are illegal. There is no way we're going to be perpetuating the use of this shit in our society, okay? Because we love our women too much. We don't want to see them killing themselves smoking that stuff. We don't want them drinking alcohol. We definitely do not want them eating meat because they are the ones who birth the children on the planet. So we need them to be in the best of health possible. These are the teachings that the Egyptians were utilizing in the rearing of their children. And that's the reason why they did very well until the Europeans came along and murdered them all. Okay, look, let me show you guys something. Look at this. Okay, this is the goddess Set. Okay, you can see the sun disk on her head. You can see the horns that I tell you about. It's synonymous with the cow being the representation of the udder being full of sustainment, meaning the lactating mother cow has way more milk than her calf will ever need. So she was fully equipped by nature to be in the seat of control and in the seat of delivering sustainment. This is a universal abiding principle. Okay? It does not change because some white man get guns and come and brainwash the world with bullshit rhetorical formations that doesn't do anything but stagnate true knowledge. Alright? All this stuff needs to be stopped. Now listen, as you can see, this woman has a right to be holding a baby close to her bosom, ready to suckle, because she has the gender that is required and necessary for this type of action, not faggot ass Jesus. Okay? It's a shame that they want to tell you that Adam birthed everybody on earth and that Jesus is supposed to be the one that's breastfeeding everyone. Listen, when I was a kid, we used to sing this song in church, and it used to puzzle me because I could never understand it. And the song went like this. It said, he shall feed his flock like a shepherd and carry the young ones in his bosom. And then it was just his bosom. They used to stick with me and bother me because I was a kid. I was like about 11 or 12 years old. But I knew men didn't have titties. And so I couldn't understand carry the young ones in his bosom. It always sounded to me like something that a woman should be doing. Even when I was a child. I knew that. I mean, I did. I knew it was something wrong with that. The whole ideal of a man carrying young children in his bosom. That's where that homosexual faggotry shit starts at. Now let me read this to you. It says Isis is the Greek version, was from Lower Egypt. Now, isn't it amazing? They say Isis, Greek version, all right? Now, they do give you the true names above, Aset, Astet, and Est, okay? Aset. I say Aset. It's the way I say it. Aset. Like A set. S-E-T. Aset. Just like that. This way it says Eset. Either way is good, okay? But I say Aset. Like as Ed. And my name is Asar as R. Okay? Now watch this. From Lower Egypt. And she stood for motherhood, love, magic, children, medicine, and peace. She was first mentioned in writing in Dynasty 5 pyramid tests and survived almost unchanged through Egyptian history. People asked her to make marriages happy, and with time she also joined the Osiris court as his consort. She was the goddess with a throne upon her head, and her name simply meant seat. A popular motif was her sitting and nursing her son, Heru, giving him a meal, picture it right, like Hathor or like Heru. She could also wear the sun disk. Within 2 standing cow horns and a cobra. Her parents were Nut and Geb, that's the sky and the earth, and she was sister to her husband Osiris, plus Set, and was sister to her husband Osiris, plus Set and Nephthys. Her temple was built all over Egypt in all times, and her very popular worshiping was Kuntan, used by the Greeks and Romans. Okay? Now, my point that I'm trying to point out to you guys is that all this stuff about Jesus and the sun disk behind his head and all that, you can all see it's phony. Jesus is a white man who was never, ever, at any time, a true personification on the earth, because if he was, there would not be so much controversy between him trying to impostor his way into Egypt. As with all of the rhetoric of Christianity, they try to jump into Egypt, which is the real land of all the God men and God women. But the problem is they're not synonymous with that land because they have no pigment. And if you have no pigment, you are not going to sit there and try to make anyone believe that you were the people responsible for building all those divine temples around that Nile Valley area. Now, don't even try it, because who you were the people who kept coming in, causing problems for these builders, and making us have to stand guard all the time and fight your ass constantly while we was trying to do God's work. Just like now, I'm on the earth trying to do God's work, and I have to battle with you low-lifed, faggot-ass white men who want to steal all the wealth of the world. Now you steal it through pushing the pen. But back in the day, you were stealing it through pushing your sword and your cannon and your slave ships. But this time, your ass is dying. See, we've already come to the conclusion that your ass gets no more chances. Hotep, Hetep family, I'm back. This is the god Horus, the son of Asar in a set. Let me read what it says. It says Horus is the Greek name for Heru, was a sky and solar god from Upper Egypt, which appeared long before the unification and was thus one of the oldest gods in the Nile Valley. Early Egyptology thought he had come to Egypt through an invasion from the Red Sea area with his supporters called the followers of Horus. But that theory is now abandoned. He was during all times the personal symbol to the pharaohs from Upper Egypt, symbolizing protection and courage. His elder name was Heru, to be replaced by Hor. He originated lots of combined deities like Harpar, Rad, Harer, etc. Hor, his name is Ra-Harakte. They don't get that wrote on there though. But that's the name I know him by. Horus or Ra-Harakte, okay? Now combined deities like Harpar, Rad, Harer, etc., which were spread nations wide. He defeated all evilness in the world symbolically by fighting Set, that's evil, who had killed his father, Asar. His twin sister was Bast, and his mother was Aset. As Ra-Harakte, he was combined with Re. Today his temple is Edfu, is still standing. Okay, now see, Ra-Harakte is the noonday sun. And the noonday sun is the representation of enlightenment. The sun is at its brightest position in the sky as to where everything should be. Very clear and visible with the help of the sunlight. That's what Heru represents. Heru represents the spiritual energy of man and woman being returned to its God self of recognizing itself as sunlight permeation. And see, that's the state of myself. I know for a fact that I am not this body. I know that I am the spiritual energy that makes this body have animation. So my Herudum, meaning that my knowledge of self has reached my Heruhood. And that's the reason why I have no need for Jesus. Because I know that relying on Jesus is handicapping the spiritual energy that I have manifested for my own use. It's real stupid. Why am I going to want to drive your Volkswagen when I have a Bentley? No thank you. I'll drive my own. Real simple. Okay. So let's go down here. That's Horus. Let's go see who Hormaket is. Alright. Hormaket. Hormaket. Horus at the horizon. Horus on the horizon. You see the beautiful Egyptian face right there? This is what you guys call the Sphinx. Okay, it says, Horus on the horizon, meaning the sun, was a symbol of resurrection linked to the setting sun, which was reborn every morning. He was also a manifestation of the god Ra-Harakte. See this god and connected to the very old gods Keper and Atum. He first appeared during the New Kingdom. He was identified with the great Sphinx at Giza, where he also was venerated in a temple of his own, possibly the only of its kind in Egypt. His very own shape was a sphinx, as seen in the picture above. He was very popular during the dynasties 18 and 19 and called upon as the Godfather. Okay, listen to this, you guys. Now, when I first started having my experiences with this Egyptian mystical system, it came on and hit me all at once. But as years go by and I kept studying, I be getting how these crazy, like, land out of this world experiences through my dreams and everything. Well, I told you guys that these two guys always come and get me. A real big black guy and a real big black white guy. And they always take me down all these stairs. And they be making me go with them. Then when we get all the way down to the bottom, they open this big old door and all this light come in like it's a sun under the earth. And that's where they take me. And when they take me in there, I meet my mother, the queen. And she be talking to me and telling me stuff that I forget when I wake up. But it be in my memory. But it's just not there for me to consciously recall. But it be instructions on things to do. And when it's time to do them, I just do them. And I be like, why the hell did you do that? And I know why. Because I be done got calibrated and put on remote control that when the time comes for me to be somewhere on this earth, I be there. Real simple. All right. So listen, about Hormaket, this thing we're looking at right now, this is a sketch of the Sphinx, the original Sphinx that that little faggot Napoleon went out there with the guns and shot the face off of. Alright, I had one night, those same guys I tell you about came and got me, and they took me inside of that Sphinx, and they had a ceremony with me inside of that Sphinx. They took me to the foot of the lion paw, because I remember reading about that in the Bible. And they took me there and they had a ceremony with me in there. And that's when they ordained me Pharaoh. And I know that because you never go there. Of all the books I've read, the only people who go to the foot of the lion paw is kings. And that's what they took. They took me there and ordained me as a king. And that's the reason why I know I am a king. And I don't really care about who doesn't want to believe it. You will. But anyway, the point is that this is all consciousness. This is all inside of every one of you guys. Genetic memory bank waiting to be activated. And you guys need to be really serious about activating your hidden energies like this one right here. This deity, this female deity, Ma'at, is the most important deity that we all should be knowing about. This is Ra's daughter right here. Listen to who she is, okay? Ma'at also meant stood for the good spiritual ideals and human behavior and was patroness of moral harmony, justice, truth, and cosmic order. She was in the funeral court in Osiris court, Asar, meaning Asar, court of justice. See, listen, I want you guys to understand something. When I tell you that I am a universal prosecutor, you better believe that, because I am. All right? Now listen to who this woman, Ma'at, is. Ma'at is truth, justice, balance. She's the scale. She is the scale in the court hall of Ma'at. That's what the court hall is called, the court hall of Ma'at. Now as you can see, she has the same type of hand gear that all the other gods have and goddesses. Now listen to what her characteristics are. She was in the funeral court in Asar court of justice, where she put her ostrich feather in the scale of balance with the heart of the deceased. If he had been living according to her norms, the heart was light and he would pass. If not, the heart was eaten up by the evil monster Amit. Ma'at was depicted as a woman, and in her hair she wore the feather of truth. Its name was Ma'at. Sometimes she was kneeling with outstretched arms like wings. In the new kingdom, many pharaohs took her name into theirs and stated to live according to her rules. She helped Re to navigate his solar bark upon the sky, and her masculine counterpart was Thoth. Okay, when they said that many kings used her name in their name, listen to this. My name is Asara Setepera Ma'at. Okay, so all of the kings use that name in their name as a representation of their actions. Now listen, all you fools out there want to get mad at me and say, well, he ain't Ma'at. He used so much profanity, because I know a whole lot of people that know me, and they always want to criticize and critique my little videos and all the knowledge and messages stuff that I send out to the world. So the only thing they can do is say about my profanity. Well, guess what? Wait till these tornadoes get to ripping y'all asses up, and then let them talk about that. I want them to talk about how I was sitting around here always talking about tornadoes doing damage to the world, and then that should be something more worthy of giving a negative description of me than to sit up worry about the stupid profanity words that I use, okay, in backup or in my pursuit of all the wickedness that's being on the earth. I might throw a little profanity out there to add a little bit of decoration to the activities of all these wicked people on the earth. So what? I'm not going to hell for using profanity, because using profanity is not a crime. It's only something based on egos of man on the earth who's decide when you should be able to shit, drink, sleep, think, all that old stuff. So of course they want to be in control of how you're able to talk. You know what? Fuck them all. Fuck you too. All you little critics out there who doesn't want to say anything good about me. And you know, that's what's funny, because you don't hear not one person out there saying anything about these lights on the sun that I'm having an interaction with. I swear to you guys, there's only one person on this earth that has talked to me about that, and that's my friend Sunchild. Everybody else avoid me, don't want to have nothing to do with me. They look at me like I'm the plague and everything, and I'm looking at them like, okay, so the reason why you don't hear me say anything good is because you don't never give me the opportunity to, because you all avoid me. So what can I say good about people that's avoiding me? It makes me believe that all y'all asses got something that you're afraid of. What are you trying to hide? Why are you afraid of God? Why are you afraid that the sun is making these light displays for you. It's always sent light to the earth. The problem is, in your heart, all y'all asses know you've been subscribing to that religious bullshit about hating on black man, and then all of a sudden you see all this power and manifestation of a black man's control, and your ass is scared, and you should be. Your ass should. You want to hear something that's really funny? I swear you guys, this is the real truth. The only people on this planet that act like they don't fear me is white women. And go figure. Why is that? Why do the white women not have a problem saying hello to me and speaking to me and looking me in the eye? Everybody else does. That's what's really weird. That is weird. Okay, I'm not saying all white women. Some white women is a real evasive, acting nervous like everybody else. But black girls, they be getting the fuck away from me. I ain't lying. It's like they really love Jesus so much. They just know in their heart that I'm the evil devil because I'm bashing on Jesus. But guess what? I'm not the one that enslaved your ass and convinced you that you was nothing unless you put some artificial cosmetics on your ass. I'm the one that's trying to tell you how confused someone has made you. Alright? And if I'm bashing this bastard that done did all the raping and pillaging and murdering that he's done on the planet, and you have a problem with that, then fine. You want to support him, you're going where his ass is going. Simple. I don't care if your ass want to put some kind of crazy idea in your head about who I am. I'm doing God work. And if I want to use profanity, I can. Because you know why? God planned on wiping your ass out. Because you have done everything to justify the eradication of you off this earth. You've been murdering the trees, murdering the animals, and you've abused these women and these children. So if I cuss at your ass, it's because you deserve it, all right? And all my friends out there who don't ever want to say nothing good about me, all you want to do is keep finding bad in me. You've been like that forever anyway. So good riddance to your ass too, all right? That's really the way I feel too. Because I'm just tired of people and all their craziness, all right? I mean that. I'm not going to lie to you guys, all right? Now look, this is Nefertiti. This is the sun right here. Okay, this sun, this little guy right here is, let me read it to you. Nefertiti, the beauty of Tim, all right, was another form of Re and symbolized the rising sun. His parents was Ptah and Sekhmet. Let me show you who that is, okay? That'll be these two, okay? Can you see that? Let's see. Yeah, you can see though. Them two right there is the ones who did the coochie woochie and made him, alright? Ptah is the universal creator, and this is Sekhmet, the universal mother. I call her Hetero too, and I call her Set. I've already explained all that to you guys, right? Okay. Alright, let's keep going here. It says, the beauty of Tim, which is Ra, was another form of Re, and symbolized the rising sun. His parents were Ptah and Sekhmet. He could be seen as a mummy with arms and hands free, a cat or a lion. Other stories say he was the son of Bastet or had no parents at all, but coming from the lotus flower as a lion-headed man, he was called restrainer of the two lands and protector of Egypt. He was mostly seen as a man wearing a lotus crown or a single lotus, sometimes with two plumes. His staff could be seen toppled with feathers. He was also patron of healing and beautification, perfumes and fine aromas. His cult was performed in the homes where the ordinary people worshipped him and carried small statuettes of him as good luck charms with his parents. He formed the so-called triad or Heliopolis. Okay, the feathered plumage that you see with all these gods is always the ostrich feather. And the reason why it's the ostrich feather is because the ostrich is the only bird on earth that can turn his head around a complete 360 degrees, which symbolizes its unique characteristic to be in vision capability of all of a 360 degree circumference, which means that the ostrich is not blind to anything. That's the reason why these people that were well enlightened sages and god and goddesses utilized the ostrich feather as a zoomorphic, symbolic, synonymous representation of having 360 degrees of all-seeing knowledge. That's what the ostrich feather is synonymous with, for those of you out there who did not know that, okay? So let's move on, all right? Because I like really getting down to the nitty-gritty, and I'm just going to the gods that I know. Let's go to Ptah and see what they had to say about him. Okay, Ptah was the old creator god from the Memphis region, and probably a conflation of two very old deities, Tatina and Sokar. He was called the first of gods and was the patron of all craftsmen, especially the smiths, among some other gods. He was creator of mankind and could create life by just using words. He uttered the manifestation of the universe. He stood for good, moral, and order based upon the 4-digit pillars of stabilities. Here's the digit pillars right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are backbone vertebrae of your top chakras. Your 4th chakra being your heart, your 5th, 6th, and 7th chakra. That's what they are. Anything under these chakras is bad chakras that everyone should be trying themselves to get above. As you can see right here, the fish and then the 3 over. That's what all that represents. That you nowhere until you make it to your 4th chakra, which is your cardiac chakra. And from your cardiac chakra on up is where you're getting into your God vibrations. You can see that he has the whole with the Ankh, with the Digit. Ptah and the Sar are the same gods, okay? As you can see, he stood for good, moral, and order based upon the 4-digit pillars of stability seen in the upper part of his staff. Right there, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the Digit, okay? And the mention of the soul of Ptah, which is in Egyptian with Herkuptah, later to be corrupted by foreigners to Egypt. In Heliopolis, he was forming a triad with his wife Segnet and their son Nefertum. He was said to have created Atum and Shu, which responsible for creation in the world. Okay? Now, let's go to Osiris and see if they show the Digit in there. Okay, they didn't show the Digit in there, but you can see that Osiris is definitely green. As you can see, he has the crook that Jesus had in his hand. He has the flail. See, this is the badass God right here. Okay, this is the badass God. This God right here have the 2 baddest goddesses on the whole thing. Well, see, you got to understand something. When you got a set and that's bad, you got that which encompasses all, because they are creation and recreation. I mean, those 2 created him in a sense, because the materialism that was necessary to create a Sar wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the materialism that's manifested through the goddess Aset and the goddess Nephbet. As you can see, there's a Set right there with the throne that he's sitting on. Okay, do you see the throne right here? Okay, do you see the square right there that the Egyptians used to build all the pyramids? You see the square? You see there's a square there? Everywhere you look, there's a square. Do you see that? Do you see? Everywhere you look, it's a square. This is the same square you find George Washington sitting his little bitch ass on. Okay? Stolen and plagiarized from these people. Osiris in Greek was king of the underworld and originally a god of agriculture and nature. That's why he's green. His origin is disputed, and his first appeared as late as during Dynasty 5 in Heliopolis. He was said to be son of Re, and he represented the dead king. Minor gods were taken into his vast court, and many legends were told about him. The common myth of Osiris of Asar is about his death, murdered by his brother Set, and resurrection. He was the chief judge in the court in the underworld, where all the dead citizens were trying to come through to paradise. He always wore a mommy dress and was brother to Isis, Horus the elder, Set, and Nephthys. His parents were Gad and Nut. He was also connected to vegetation and the fertile flooding of the Nile River, seen in his green or black complexion. Just like I told y'all, the first man that was on the earth was the color of vegetation. Later, after breathing carbon and eating solid foods around the earth, and just partaking of everything that came from the soil, and being non-animated, and having the sun on him all the time, and her all the time, they later turned black. Okay? That's the way that goes. Alright? Let's go at Serapis. This is the god that Jesus came from. Okay? See right there? Serapis of Alexandria. This god right here was only a statue. He never existed. Now they took Serapis god and mixed it with the god. Okay, look at this. Asar, Greek Serapis, was an amalgam of the god Osiris, Asar, and the bull Apis. And he was seen depicted at local shrines all over Egypt. Every province, temple, and cult area along the Nile had its own version, and about 200 names are known, giving an idea how widespread the Osiris cult was. In this time, from big towns due to villages, in the common Apis version left, he wore a bull's head with a big sun disk, and the standing head with a cobra in the middle. He was introduced as late as during the Ptolemaic era around 300 BC and became a unique, almost monotheistic god for 6 centuries in Alexandria, where he was venerated in form of the Greek